The day I realized what my family is hiding from me. I always thought my family was normal. You know, the kind of family everyone assumes is perfect from the outside. Mom was organized, Dad was calm, and my older brother Ethan, well, he seemed flawless. Or at least, that's what I thought, until the day I saw that message. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I was using Ethan's laptop for a college project when a notification popped up, a message from Mom. Normally, it would have been something like, "Dinner's ready, come down." But this? It wasn't anything ordinary. She was apologizing to Ethan. Not for anything small, like missing a game or a test. It was for something serious. Something I wasn't supposed to know. I froze. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Should I read it? Should I pretend I didn't see it? But curiosity, stupid, dangerous curiosity, won. And that curiosity changed everything. At first, I didn't want to believe it. Families fight, I told myself. Siblings get along, sometimes they don't. But soon, little things started adding up. Mom would gush over Ethan for doing the smallest chores, while I was barely acknowledged for my own accomplishments. Dad seemed proud of Ethan in ways he never was with me. I brushed it off as normal favoritism, until I noticed the patterns. Ethan had this habit of leaving the room whenever I tried to ask serious questions. Late-night phone calls I wasn't allowed to hear. Texts on his phone he hurriedly deleted when I entered the room. Things that should have been mundane suddenly felt secretive. I began paying attention, and the cracks became impossible to ignore. One evening, I overheard Mom on the phone with a family friend. "You have to keep him in line," she said. My stomach sank. Who was she talking about? Ethan. Was this about me? And then it hit me, maybe my entire family was hiding things from me, and maybe I was the only one who didn't know. For the next few weeks, I kept my eyes open. I noticed subtle signs, hidden bills in drawers, letters from banks I didn't recognize, messages between Mom and family friends that seemed coded. Even little comments from Ethan didn't add up. Everything felt like pieces of a puzzle, but the picture was terrifying. The first confrontation came sooner than I expected. Ethan made a passing comment about Dad's old business mistakes. "You wouldn't understand," he said, flashing that confident smirk. That smirk I had always envied. I didn't back down. "Try me," I said. He laughed, a little too loud. "Seriously? You have no idea what's going on." And that's when I realized, maybe I didn't. Not yet. After that day, I couldn't stop thinking about the message. It wasn't just curiosity anymore, it was an obsession. I needed to know what was really going on. I started paying attention to Ethan, my parents, and even the family friends who seemed harmless. The little cracks in their perfect lives became impossible to ignore. It began with small things. I noticed Mom transferring money late at night, quietly, like she didn't want anyone to see. Dad would sometimes check his accounts in secret, a flicker of tension crossing his face whenever I walked by. Ethan, he was no longer just charming, he was calculating. He knew how to present a flawless front while hiding tiny, almost imperceptible lies. At first, I doubted myself. Was I imagining things? But then came the evidence. It started with Ethan's report card. I knew his grades had always been high, but the numbers didn't match the story he told. He claimed he aced all his subjects, but I saw discrepancies. A few B's here, a C there, nothing catastrophic, but enough to suggest he'd been covering something. Then came the text messages. I found a thread between Mom and a family friend discussing keeping Ethan ahead in school and at work. It wasn't just favoritism. It was manipulation. And if they were doing this for him, what about me? I tried to confront Ethan casually. "You didn't get that A?" I asked one evening, trying to sound casual while my heart raced. He laughed, flashing that same confident smirk. "Oh, those grades. Don't worry about them. It's all handled." I frowned. Handled by whom? He shrugged, almost bored. "Just, family things." The more I dug, the more I realized I had been invisible. My accomplishments were ignored, my mistakes magnified. Ethan got the credit. Mom got the glory. Dad got the comfort of thinking everything was perfect. And me? I was just background noise. I started keeping a notebook, a record of every suspicious action, every hidden document, every odd message. It became my obsession. I wasn't snooping anymore. I was gathering proof. Then came the tipping point. I overheard a conversation between Mom and Dad in the kitchen. They were arguing softly, trying not to wake me. "You can't keep favoring him," Mom said. "He's your son, Daniel. You promised you'd never let him take advantage of us." Dad's voice was low, controlled, but sharp. "I'm protecting the family." Their words sent chills down my spine. This wasn't protection. It was strategy. They weren't helping him, they were controlling him. And that's when I knew, I had to be careful. I couldn't confront them yet. I needed more proof. I needed a plan. Over the next few weeks, I started noticing patterns in Ethan's behavior. He had friends who never called me, activities I wasn't invited to, and secrets that seemed unnecessary for someone his age. But then I found a journal hidden in his room, just a small notebook with scribbled notes and names. It listed favors he owed people, money he had been given, even lies he had told to keep himself above scrutiny. And that was just the start. I realized my family wasn't just hiding secrets from me, they were actively constructing a reality where Ethan would always come out on top. And the more I learned, the angrier I became. But anger wasn't enough. I needed strategy. I began small tests, asking questions in subtle ways, trying to see who would slip. Mom would flinch at certain topics. Dad avoided eye contact. Ethan's smirk would falter for a fraction of a second. Each reaction was a clue. Each slip confirmed what I had suspected all along: they underestimated me. Then, one evening, I accidentally stumbled upon a hidden email thread. It revealed something bigger than I expected. Ethan had been given financial advantages, secret job offers, and opportunities that were never extended to me. And my parents weren't just complicit, they were orchestrating it. The realization hit me like a punch. Everything I thought I knew about my family, about fairness, about love, it was a lie. I could feel my pulse in my ears. But instead of panicking, I did something surprising: I smiled. Because for the first time, I understood the rules of their game. And now, I was ready to play. By now, I wasn't just observing. I was planning. Every interaction, every seemingly small detail, was a piece of the puzzle I intended to put together for the ultimate reveal. It started with Ethan. I had enough evidence to show that he wasn't the golden child my parents claimed. But I knew I couldn't rush. He was sharp, he'd cover tracks faster than I could catch them if I acted hastily. One evening, I decided to test him. I casually asked about a scholarship he'd supposedly gotten last month. Mom told me you aced that competition, I said, keeping my tone light. Ethan's eyes flickered. He hesitated. Yeah, well, it was nothing, really, he muttered, brushing it off. I pressed further. But I heard the award went to someone else. His composure cracked for a moment. That tiny crack was all I needed. He realized I knew something. And that realization sent a thrill through me. Finally, I had control. Next, I started digging deeper into Mom and Dad's actions. The emails, the hidden accounts, the secret meetings, it all painted a picture more twisted than I could have imagined. They weren't just helping Ethan, they were actively undermining me. Every mistake I'd made in school or work had been magnified to make me feel incompetent, while Ethan's every small success had been amplified. The first major twist came when I uncovered a hidden loan account. A substantial amount of money had been taken out by Dad, supposedly for a family emergency, but traced, it turned out, it was funneled to Ethan's college tuition at an exclusive out-of-state school, without telling me or even considering me. I confronted Mom quietly first. I asked about the account. She tried to laugh it off. Oh, it's nothing, sweetie. Just adult stuff you wouldn't understand. But her tone betrayed her. She was nervous, cornered. I pressed harder. So you hid this from me, intentionally? Her silence was confirmation. Then came Dad. He tried to rationalize it. I was protecting him. You know how fragile he is. I could see through the words. Protection wasn't the goal, it was manipulation. They wanted him untouchable, perfect in public eyes, while I was left second best. And then, the shocker, a family friend I had casually questioned revealed something I hadn't suspected. Ethan had been bribing a teacher to get grades that weren't earned. Not only that, Mom had been complicit, and Dad had turned a blind eye. This wasn't just favoritism, it was a systemic plan to make Ethan untouchable while keeping me in the dark. I sat in stunned silence, piecing it all together. Everything, every slight, every frustration, every seemingly unfair rule, had been carefully constructed. And for the first time, I felt enraged. But I didn't act rashly. Instead, I documented everything meticulously. Copies of emails, screenshots of messages, financial records, and a detailed timeline of lies and manipulations. The final stage was confrontation. I waited until the family was gathered for dinner: Mom, Dad, Ethan, and me. The atmosphere was tense, but I kept my calm. Can we talk? I asked, my voice steady. They looked at me, confused. Ethan's smirk faltered slightly. I didn't waste time. I presented the evidence, the hidden accounts, the manipulated grades, the bribes, and every lie that had been told. I watched them unravel, piece by piece, unable to deny the facts. Mom tried to cry, but her tears looked forced. Dad went pale. Ethan's smirk was gone, replaced with panic. You thought I wouldn't find out? I said, my voice calm but firm. You underestimated me. You treated me like I was naive, like I wouldn't notice. But I did. For the first time, I felt empowered. I wasn't the background sibling anymore. I wasn't the ignored child. I was the one holding the truth, and they couldn't spin it. The final twist. Despite everything, I didn't humiliate them publicly. Instead, I negotiated the outcome carefully. I reclaimed control over my finances, my opportunities, and my voice in the family. Ethan had to face the consequences of his actions, and my parents had to acknowledge the damage they'd caused. By the end, I wasn't bitter. I was victorious, not because I destroyed them, but because I finally claimed my own space in a family that had tried to minimize me. The dinner ended quietly. The air was thick with tension, but I felt calm. I had turned the tables. And for the first time in years, I knew my family couldn't manipulate me anymore. I had uncovered every lie, revealed every secret, and emerged on top, not by shouting wisdom, but by playing smart, observing carefully, and never underestimating myself. And that's when I realized, sometimes the strongest revenge isn't anger. It's reclaiming your life and making sure the people who doubted you know exactly who you are.